my take on this in regards to this topic?
You know, at the end of the day, as you were touching down on as well, when you do things properly like that, number one, it's going to give the business a whole lot more barakah. Because as Muslims, we should always be concerned not only about this dunya, but what is going to take place in the akhirah.
Yeah.
What is going to take place in the akhirah. So when you build a business, especially if you're trying to do things for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you want to build a business that is at the highest of standards and avoid riba and all of these things the best of your ability. Because unfortunately, and I believe you mentioned that one of the durus that you were in, one of the shiyukh, they were speaking about how so many people will have a hand in riba in this day and age.
Oh, yeah.
It's like drinking water. So we're going to be touched in one way, shape, or form. One way or another, a Muslim is going to be touched by it. But we can do is avoid these type of transactions the best of our ability, especially when it's something we can avoid. You understand? If it's something we can absolutely avoid, like going to a bank. If you have to go to the bank and take out a loan, and you know that loan is going to be based on riba, you know you have to pay back extra based on that money. And then subhanAllah, we encourage brothers and sisters to stay far away from these type of transactions because it's something that can highly affect your action.
And
this is something extremely dangerous.
And to mention, when you build these businesses based on riba, you won't find any barakah in it. Perhaps, yes, it will grow, and on the outside, it will look very successful, but the reality is you won't find any barakah in it. You yourself, you start having issues in your family, not happy. Even though you got all the money, but you're not happy deep down and whatnot, a lot of the time is the result of the roots on which you build this business on. And if it's riba, then that's your answer.
You mentioned something that I wanted to touch down on, and that is the fact that a Muslim has to be more creative. This gives you the extra edge. It should give us an edge, the fact that we have to be more creative. So, I mean, one of the main things that you find, being that a Muslim has to think a whole lot more, if you think about it, it gives us a creative edge. It gives us a type of creative edge because that business you're building, now you have to think more. You have to be creative. You know, it's very easy to just go out there and take a loan. It's very easy for me to press that button and take that loan from Strike. So I get calls all the time with people offering me 40,000, 50,000. Man, it's easy to build a business like that.
Yeah.
You didn't have to be creative in regards to, for example, as a Muslim, you need to be more creative. And I'll give you an example. When you're talking about something like Islamic finance, for example, you have to learn how to utilize financial instruments in the Islamic world, Islamic finance instruments or tools or ideas to be able to construct or build a network. Let's give an example of a susu, for example. It takes a type of creativity to put something together where people's money is coming together and it's a benefit, or a sukuk. In Islamic sukuk, it requires thought. You have to be creative in order to finance your projects. It takes creativity. So as a result, I believe there's a greater reward, not only mentally, but also spiritually. In regards to taking out loans and stuff like this, it's very easy to do that. And I believe it gives a Muslim a creative edge when you have to go out of your way and be more creative and think and ponder on different ways, the ways you can raise capital, etc. Because it's very easy to take a loan. Let's just be honest. It's very easy for a person to press that strike button and get that $7,000, that $10,000 loan. It immediately comes to your account. Immediately. It's very easy because I get these calls all the time. Banks try to offer you 40,000, 50,000. It's very easy to take one of those loans and do something with it business-wise. Very easy to do that. But when you have to put together your mind, when you have to reflect and think deeply and say, you know what, let's try to do this by utilizing Islamic finance structures. Now you got to use your mind. Now you got to put together all your faculties, your mental faculties, and say, okay, how can we make this make sense? Number one, Islamically, so that Allah is pleased with us. And number two, it's something that also will make money so we can do what? Also have more capital to be able to spend in the cause of Allah. Take care of our family and spend it in the cause of Allah. That requires more thought. rather than you just going out there and taking a loan. That's easy to do. It's easy to do. Because many Muslims, they complain about, oh, everything is haram. People say this is haram, that is haram. Reality, think about it from the holistic approach. The way Islam approaches things, it's for the societal benefit, for the benefit of everybody, not just you. Riba affects the society. This is why
Big
it's totally
time.
prohibited. It affects the society. Look what happened in 2008 with the housing market here in America. This was due to riba.
Yeah, 100%.
If Islamic principles were established in this country and those business practices were built off Islamic principles, that would have never even happened. At least it would have been prevented because the businesses would have been found, the foundations would have been much stronger. You have Islamic principles in place, this changes the foundations.
When you mentioned obviously easy to get loan, obviously just to clarify, of course, when you have a business, when you're actually earning a lot, usually banks and all these, card companies, they want to offer you a lot of loan and finance and whatnot. So obviously for someone that's just trying to build a business, they work a 9 to 5, they have good income, right? Such a person may not necessarily have the or may not necessarily meet the requirement to get that amount of loan, 20K, 30K, and whatnot. You know what I mean? But so that person may resort to using credit card, or I don't know how the credit card work in terms of what's the maximum they can get on what that, because like I said, I don't really play in this world in that kind of area when it comes to credit card. But so obviously what you mentioned about Stripe and being able to obviously get 7,000, 40,000 loan easy, being offered. That's it, yeah. That's accessible to someone that's already, running a business and whatnot. And hey, business owners actually do fall into that because sometimes business is down and they need cash.
Even beginner businesses here. Yeah, even beginner businesses will be surprised how easy it is to build business credit here in America.
Yeah, to get loan
easy to build business credit. You can build business credit before you know it. Banks are willing to give you 100,000.
Yeah,
people got business. They have courses teaching people how to build business credit, and that business credit, of course, is built on riba.
Yep.
Because they're going to bank is going to give you money. I don't know. You got to pay that riba back. Got to pay it back with interest. If you look at the word usury.
Now, riba is something that building wealth. Riba brings no benefit. Without that, I remember to give you a story. There was a time, yourself and myself, one of our companies was struggling, and that company was capital intensive. One of the companies that we have based in the US was struggling, and I think at that time needed about because we had injected about 160,000 in the business, right, prior to that. But then I think due to COVID and everything, which again, inshallah, at some point we can do a whole episode on talking about the pitfalls and what happened with that business and obviously how it went down. But yeah, obviously the story that I remember, that business itself, in that industry, typically what people do, they use credit card. They use credit card to finance things, just to finance things. So that kind of like keep them afloat easy. But also we were just using cash from the business. And when things were kind of like down, we were trying to use our cash from our pocket at that time. Anyway, cut the long story short, this business got to a point where it was in minus, I think 100K. We needed 100K to fulfill some orders. And this was e-commerce, by the way. This was e-commerce, just so you know. Needed 100K to fulfill some of the orders. And at that point, the funds we had was stuck with the bank. The bank was holding on to the funds, right, due to some chargeback. The
bank was holding on to the funds.
Yeah, majority of the fund due to some chargeback issue. The simplest answer would have been to get credit, to get a credit card and use it to fulfill these orders until these the funds were released. I think at that point, we actually spoke to an Islamic scholar based in the UK, right? We spoke to someone of knowledgeable, well-known Islamic scholar in the UK here. And his advice to us, we said to me, actually, it got to the point where we actually went to him asking him if it was permissible in this situation for us to get a credit card. It got that bad to do this, to fulfill these orders just for that, in order to save the business. And what did he say? He said to us that I would never advise you to get credit card to do this, right? Because riba is haram, number one. And his words, he said, I have never seen anyone that have dealt with riba except that it destroys them.
And he added to that, he said, I never give an advice. I never give Riba as a solution to a person's problem. I never advise Riba as a solution to their problem.
Yes.
Advise them to deal with Riba as a solution. Like you said, he said,
It never works
you
hard.
imagine the amount of cases he's seen, people that have come to him regarding these particular issues, and he said he never prescribes that as a solution because it's only to your detriment. Man.
Now, it's only going to harm you one way or the other. So this is what is, obviously.
And you just brought something to my attention, subhanAllah. Do you remember, we'll look into this later, but PayPal utilizing was holding about 10 grand of us. And if you look at their business model, because once again, this is a multi-billion-dollar company now that is based on Riba. We're talking about Riba millionaires. Now, we know there's Riba billionaires as well. Oh, PayPal is a Riba-based organization that is making billions by holding people's capital. It's actually in their terms and conditions that when your funds are being held, they're making money off of. And we know they're not dealing with any type of profit sharing, situations that we would deal with Islamically.